Hey YouTube, and welcome to day 62 of becoming a front-end developer from zero. So as you guys can probably see, my camera is unfortunately not working, so I'll have to get a new one. I don't know when I'll be able to do that because I'm extremely busy, but I will get one as soon as possible. So I hope that it's not a deal breaker for you guys. So today I woke up early because I'm working the entire day. So I thought, let's start with just going through this, right? We're gonna learn JavaScript from scratch. We're gonna go through this, and I'm gonna upload this. So this is gonna be learning JavaScript. We're gonna really go in this because I need to know this, right? I need to know JavaScript properly. So let's get started. So okay, welcome to Learn JavaScript. This course will teach you JavaScript in the context of building web applications. You will learn and practice new syntax, functions, and concepts step by step in lessons and have direct application in challenges and projects. The first 77 lessons, challenges, and projects, first 7 chapters, are totally free. After that, you'll be asked to blah blah blah. Okay, I don't know how to read that. And prerequisites. So the course assumes you know the basics of programming. It's important that you're familiar with the following: variables, arrays, and array, iteration loop, conditions, objects, basics of classes. All right. So let's just go. All right. So basic functions. Let's start with basic functions. Function sum x, y, return x plus y. So this piece of code defines a function called sum. This means that you can now call sum13, which returns 4. You can run it again with different values, such as sum2, 5, and it will return the result of 2 plus 5, which is 7. So returning the result. In JavaScript, you have to return from inside functions. If you forget to write return, your function will return undefined. The return keyword will also exit the function. So function sum x, y, return x plus y, console log hello world. So this will never run because when you have a return keyword, code after return is not going to be executed. So the return keyword will quit the function with the result, which is x plus y. So the code afterward will never run. Okay. So while I'm doing this, I'm also thinking like I should probably make some notes just so that we don't really yeah. So we're gonna call this basic functions. Delete this. Yeah, we're just gonna start like this, right? So in this we learned that to return a value from a function, you need to have the return keyword, right? That's gonna give us the result. So, but the most important thing is that the return keyword in functions will exit the function and return the result to us. All right. So here we have like an example. Yeah, so I've already done that, but sum a b return a plus b, and we are calling it here. We get the sum blah blah blah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We also have mobile flash games. Strings. Let's see. I think I need to like what? Let's see. Okay. So you can create a string in JavaScript by using the double quotes or single quotes. So there's no difference between using a double quote or a single quote. They are exactly the same. Neither of these strings support interpolation, which means replacing a variable with its value inside of a string. String interpolation will be covered in a future lesson. Okay, string property. So the length property is used to return the length of the string. Here's an example of getting the length of nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 characters in this string, and we used length, which is a string property. So assuming you have a variable called text, here's how you would get its length. So let text hello text dot length, right? So this is stored in the variable here, and we are using a string property length to get the amount of characters. Okay, so basic string methods. So here are some common methods that you can call. All right, so let's just do strings. String property. So we have a length, we have dot length, which will return the amount characters in a string. And then we have string methods. We have to lower case, which will, so this will return a new string that has all of its characters in lowercase. So we'll return a new string with all its characters. I don't know why I keep misspelling that. Characters in lowercase. Yeah. Okay. And then we have to upper case, which will turn a new string that has all of its character in case. And there's a note here, right? So note that length should not have parentheses after it because it is a property, a value that it has already been computed, whereas to lowercase is a method that requires the parentheses because it's an action that you're performing, right? So parentheses are required because it's an action that is performed. So when you want to perform an action, you have to use, but we don't need to memorize that. We just know, right? This is a method, and yeah. So visualize a variable or expression. So when solving challenges, feel free to use console log to visualize or a variable or expression. It will show up in the console tab. So function sum a b, console log a plus b, return a plus b. So with the code above, you will see 1 and then 4 log to the console because of the console log a and console log a plus b. So note that console log is not a replacement for return. You still have to return after the console log. So the console log is just gonna give us something in the console. All right, so recap, you can create strings with double quotes or single. Length is a property that gives you the length of a string. To uppercase, parentheses is a function that converts the string. So it's a built-in function in JavaScript. It's a method, and same with this. Parentheses on the function calls are required. The length is a property that already pre-computed. Blah 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 blah. The console log is used for debugging and is not a replacement for return. All right. So we have our first challenge, guys. String length. So complete the function get char count such that it returns the number of characters in the str parameter, string parameter that it receives. So consider learn programming if you're stuck. Okay, so we're gonna create a function and we're gonna name the function get char count, and we're gonna have because it says that it returns the number of characters in the string, right? So str, that's gonna be like the placeholder for the string. So we are gonna do return str and length. So as you guys can see, Apple 1 2 3 4 5. So if I do console log get char count, I can say movie, we're gonna get 5 6 7. So it's working. So if I do this, yay. All right, so shout my name. Complete the function shout my name such that it returns the name parameter it receives all in uppercase. Okay, so we're gonna do function shout my name, and let's see, name parameter. Okay, so we're gonna do like this, and we're gonna do to uppercase, but we need to return it. That's why we are getting undefined, because it's calling it but there's no value. So now we're doing that. Perfect. Okay, so lowercase string, complete the function lower name such that it returns the name parameter it receives all in lowercase. So we're gonna do function lower name. We're gonna have the placeholder, and oops, we're gonna say that we're gonna return string and to lower case. Now, okay, this course is amazing. So character access. So now we're gonna learn about accessing characters in a string, right? This is important for, you know, to manipulate and to do stuff. So you can access a specific character in a string by using the square bracket syntax. you have to provide the index of the character that you would like to access starting from 0. So it's index based, which means that when you count from, like for example here, right, it doesn't start from 1 2 3, it starts from 0. So if it says index based, it just starts with 0. So we're gonna create a new one, and we're gonna say character access. I don't know why I keep misspelling character. I don't get it. Okay, character access. And so in order to access the character of a string, you must provide the index position, which starts from 0 and not 1, because it is index based. We use the square bracket to target a character. Okay, so here we have an example where the variable language has the value JavaScript. Here's how you access the first character, the second, the third. So language bracket 0, language bracket 1. Yeah. So if you would like to debug your code and see the result of language 1 in the console, you have to console it as follows. A. Yeah. Okay, so combining it with length. You can also combine the character access with the length property. So using the same language variable, here's how you would get the second to last character from it. So const language JavaScript, so language, and we have a bracket, right? So you get the entire length of the variable minus 2, right? So this would give us p, because we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 8 9 10, right? So 10 9 8, but we have, yeah, second to last character, right? And it's 0 base, so 0 1 2 3 4 8 9 10 and 9. Yeah, but I think it's because it's index based, right? So yeah, here it explains it. So note that language length will be undefined because character access starts from 0, right? And there's no 0 here, so that can be a bit confusing. Because if you just say language length, it's gonna start from 0, right? So that's not gonna work. Will be undefined because character access starts from 0. So this can be a bit confusing. That actually confused me a bit. Because language length, you would expect it to give the entire length, right? But this is the issue. Now I get it. Because yes, the reason I'm confused is because I forget that it's in the brackets here, right? And when you use brackets, it means character access, right? So that starts with 0. So yeah, so you can't really get this because this is gonna be start from 0, so I can't count it. So for a string of 9 characters, 8 is the position of the last character, right? So let's read that again. So for the string of 9 characters, so this has like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 characters. So and the last position is going to be, and then we have -2, right? So 10, 8, 9. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, right? So 10, 9, 10, 9. But we have index, so it's gonna be so yeah, this is a bit confusing, but so a string 9, yeah, I'm just trying to think, I want it to make sense, because it's like, okay, we have 10 characters here, right? And here we are saying language length -2, so it's gonna go 1, 2, right? So yeah, I mean, that's it, whatever. So the @index method. So since 2022, JavaScript now has a method that reads the character at a certain index, which can also be negative. So let's look at a few examples. So const language. So we have okay. The primary use case for the method is negative indices, making it easier than relying on the length property. Or you can use which approach you prefer. So when a negative index is specified, you can start counting. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to use @index. Yeah. So when a negative index is specified, you start counting from the end. -1 is the last character. Okay, so when a negative, sorry, -1 is the last character, -2 is the one before it, 0, 0. Okay, so that's how it works. So you can continue using the square bracket syntax for all other use cases, knowing that language returns undefined. So whenever you want to use a negative index, you should use method. All right. So let's just write about that. This is quite important. So the index method. So we don't need to write everything. You just need to write that. So the method reads the character at a certain index, which can also be negative, and the primary use case for the method is negative indices, making it easier than relying on the length property. Yeah, so you would use the method, right, for accessing, like if you want to access the last character of a string, you can just use the method, because that would allow you to use negative numbers, right, or negative index. So for example, if you use negative 1, it'll be the last character. There, etc. Yeah, and doing this with square brackets will return defined because only works for app method. All right. Okay, so JS doc. So by now you probably noticed that most of the challenges start with some comments that look like this. So these comments are used to improve your coding experience. They let the code editor know what methods to suggest to you while you're typing. Okay, so you can ignore the comments. You will never have to change them or add them, and they don't affect the tests. So what is a sample usage? You may have also noticed that every challenge has some sample usage code at the end. For example, for the function get char count, we had blah blah blah. So the goal of this sample usage is to show you the various ways we expect to call the function. Sometimes we show you the expected output next to it in the comment. Function with more examples not visible in the sample code. So the goal of this is to make sure that you have provided a correct answer that works in several scenarios, not just one or two scenarios. Okay, so a recap: square brackets index are used to access a specific index from a string. The index starts at 0, so the first character is index 0. You can combine it with the length of a string to get another character in another position. The at method allows you to read a character at an index, which can also be negative. Right. So let's do this. So here it says get first character. So we're gonna do that function get first character, and it's gonna be a string. Return string 0, right? So it's gonna give us the first character. Okay. Get the last character. So complete the function get last character such that it returns the last character of the name parameter it receives. So there are two ways we can do this, I think. So we're gonna do it the first way. So we're gonna do get last character. Oh, we forgot to say function last character. So I'm gonna do the first way, so return at 1. I need to, of course, use string. All right, so this is gonna give us the last. Also, we can do string length minus 1. Yeah. Okay guys, so that's it for now. I have to go to work in like 20 minutes, so I just have to end the video right here. But I'm so glad that I decided to do this, because this is really gonna, if I do this every day, right? Because I'm gonna do this every day, and I'm going to, of course, like with the days I have off, like when I'm not working, I will do way more, right? So we're gonna have long days with this, and I really want to master these things, right? I want to be comfortable with strings, everything. So thank you guys so much for watching. And again, I'm so sorry for the not having video camera, because I know it's more interactive when you see me. Like I know how it is, because I've been, I've been YouTube viewer myself. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace.